The first game we're going to play on our first episode is Unpacking, and it's an organizing, puzzle, narrative storytelling game.
This is one of my all-time favorite comfort games, especially when I am feeling stressed and I'm just like after work and I want to just pull something up very quickly. This is usually the game I go for. I know exactly what's going to happen. It's, not too intensive. It is like my go-to very comfy game.
For those of you unfamiliar with Unpacking, the developer is Witchbeam. It was released in 2021, and you can find it on Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, so pretty much all of your freaking devices at this point. It is single player only, so we actually cannot play together. But Brie, can you describe a little bit of how do you even play this heckin' game?
There's not really a lot of hand holding and there's not really a tutorial. It literally drops you into a bedroom with a bunch of packing boxes. And all you do is with your mouse, click on those boxes, take the items out of the box and place them around the room where you think they should go. Once everything has been placed, be corrected if something is out of place with a red outline of the item. Then you can kind of adjust from there. Once you have completed everything in that room, gives you a little snapshot of what you've done. Also an option to watch you do it in real time, so to speak.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that. I realized that last time I played it, that, you can actually do a speed recording of everything you did, and you could do different speeds of it. So you could see how you did everything and how you readjusted, which is really fun. And then there's a tiny little note in the photo album that post to, and then you proceed to the next level.
Organizing games have become really, really popular in the last number of years. But I think most of the organizing games I've played are 2D flat, kind of right in front of you, things placed in front of you, and then you have to organize them in a puzzly way. Whereas this, it is 2D pixel art, but it's isometric. So you still get that 3D look and feel to it, even if it's technically not a 3D game. They definitely tried to make it feel real. The boxes animate open and you have to take one item out of the box. And if you place something in front of a drawer, you can't open the drawer. It has those seemingly real spatial elements to them.
I would do that constantly in the game. I would just assume the game would correct it. But I'd be like, oh, I actually want to go to this part of the closet. And the closet door will slam against the drawer you have open until you close it, like real life.
It's almost a little aggressive about it too. It'll make a noise
yes.
you're why are you slamming your closet door into that drawer? It really makes you feel like you did that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's such a pretty game. I love the art. I love the color palette. It's very nostalgic in a way. It almost feels kind of girlhood in a lot of ways. And just so much detail, good music. I mean, this wasn't meant to necessarily be an advertisement for the game, but obviously we love this game so much that it's the first one we're going to talk about. So
yes, the aesthetic of it is excellent. Maybe girly is the wrong word, but it is very colorful, lots of bright colors. In general, I don't like games that have a lot of rules. I don't like a lot of hand holding where it's I have to learn all of these buttons, all these different things I have to do, especially after a long day where I just don't want to think too hard. This is a game that you can hop into right away, and it's not that much investment. I think very easily, especially if you maybe have 20 minutes, this would be a game that you could just okay, I could just do one level and see where I get with that. Again, it's been my go-to comfy game for a long time. It is very satisfying to just see a room and then put it all together exactly the way you like it. And especially because I've played this game a couple of times, it's interesting that I've kind of designed the rooms very differently each time, because I was well, I know I put this here last time, so I'm going to see if this works this way. Maybe we could stack the books over here. It's just cozy and comfy and not difficult and easy to understand, I think, for literally anybody. That's what I like about it. It's very accessible.
You only start with one room. You only start with a couple boxes and a couple things. So you can feel like you've accomplished something and understand the basic game right away before it starts dumping you into bigger and bigger apartments, which is really nice. The thing we haven't really touched on yet is that this is a story game. It's not just put stuff in any apartment. You are following the life over years of somebody who's moving between place to place and where they're living and what their stuff is. And that part of it really wasn't obvious to me, obviously, in the first or even immediately in the second level. But damn, does that story hit hard by the end.
Yes. I can't believe I didn't mention that. But yeah, honestly, one of my favorite parts about this game is that it is almost entirely, if not entirely, environmental storytelling. We really don't have as far as I know, a name for the character that you're playing or for the people that they interact with, but you are getting bits about their story and about their likes and interests and their age just based on everything in the room. The very first room you start in, it's definitely you're younger in that room. And there's a lot of toys, there's a lot of games, there's a lot of kind of picture looking books, there's little ponies, things like that. And that's exactly how it's told throughout the time. Like we don't even really see the character that you're playing as until the very, very end. So, and it's from the back, and then from some like tiny, tiny pictures that you might put on the corkboard or whatever. You can really take as much or as little out of this game as you want to. If you want to go through this whole game and not really take on the story at all, you really don't have to. You could just keep this as a very comfy unpacking game where I'm just putting things in a room in a way that I like it. Or you could look a little deeper, look at the items that you're placing in those rooms and piece together the story that way.
I love the details of the items in the room so much. Like that first room has a very like 90s Lisa Frank poster. There's a Tamagotchi. There's like an old style boombox with a cassette player. It's just so nostalgic, which is really fun.
Yeah.
They set it in the late 90s, at least for that very first room. And to see like which items come with you over the levels, over the years, is just also a really fun detail of the many, many detail-oriented pieces of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I was just remembering that in that first level, a very small piece, but there's a dreidel in there. So there's a dreidel that you take with you to a couple of different rooms. So it's like, okay, I could just, take that at face value. Oh, here's a dreidel. Or I could be like, oh, you know what? This is telling me something about the character, that this is, that they're Jewish. It's a small detail that you could definitely ignore or not even notice, but it's slowly building those traits about the character that you're playing and that the characters you're going to quote unquote interact with when you're moving into their places.
There's no dialogue in this game really, except when you're kind of the idea is you're filling out a photo album. And in the photo album, the character does write one sentence like, oh, my own room. But that's the only quote unquote dialogue that exists. And there's not even really hardly any text at all. Like I think there might be one or two posters where you can see text, but most things that would have text like DVDs, games, whatever, like I wouldn't say blurred out, but it's just simplified. So there isn't technically a title, which I think is a way to really keep it cozy and not distracting. And just in general, not telling the story through words, really just telling the story through stuff.
Absolutely. Even about the games, like, yeah, you can't really see what the games are, but they're definitely modeled after, like, you can tell the character has a GameCube at some point. You could tell that there's the console there, but also the game cases are even like lightly modeled after GameCube, like game cases, which is like a very cute small detail, which again, they didn't have to do, but they took the time to differentiate all those items, especially as you start to get into bigger and bigger houses. There's a lot of DVDs, a lot of books, but they still took the time to differentiate those and keep it on theme with like the year that was happening. So it really immerses very deep in that, which is, I think, is so cool.
I think I wrote down, I did recognize a couple of the DVDs, I think. The Matrix and Donnie Darko, and then there was one with two girls with blue and orange hair that I didn't recognize. I tried to figure
Interesting. Oh, that's fun. I've never noticed that before, but that's really cool.
Who knows if I got them right, but that's definitely what spoke to me. I think I mentioned I love the music, but this last time I tried playing it the other day to prep for this, I was playing without music for a couple of the levels, and I never really noticed before this playthrough the ambiance, like all the sound effects. When you are in your city apartment, you can hear public transit going by. You can hear a cop siren. When you're in the bathroom, there's like water dripping. When you're in the kitchen, there's a hum of the refrigerator. Like all of these details are just so impressive to me for such a simple game.
I saw your notes about the audio and I didn't even realize, but yeah, I think I do tend to play this game without audio because I'll usually have like my dual screen. My other screen is set up with YouTube videos, so I'll be watching that and just playing the game. But I think it's cool and valuable that you could definitely play it either way and I think get just as much enjoyment. It certainly adds to it, but it's not like 100% necessary. It's just small little detail that you can take or leave as well.
The whole reason I didn't play with music this time was because I was watching a YouTube video, but I heard the cop siren, and I got like in my just anxious state of living that I live in, I like paused the YouTube video to be like cop siren, and I was like, oh, it's coming from the game. Like that's
so
like
funny.
I live in the city and I'm used to these sounds, but like no, this isn't actual life this time. This is coming from the
Kind of going on to the more details. I think it's cool too that in that level in particular, because it is a city apartment, you can look out the window and you'll see little cars like driving by and the city lights. Again, small things that like they could have easily just like blocked that out or not had a window, but they're like, no, we'll have a little backdrop there.
I did not even notice that. That's the thing. There's so many tiny details in this. Like this was my third playthrough. I didn't finish it this third time, but I played through the first 4.5 levels and just noticing things I don't remember from last time. And then you bringing up things I didn't even notice. Like it's just such kudos to how much time and attention was given to this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure how many hours you have in this game. I think in general, I'd say this game could probably be completed. I want to say like 3 hours or something, 3-4 hours. Like if you were going straight through. Obviously, I think you could probably cut some time if you just like really rapid fire put things places. But I think at this moment, I think I have 24 total game hours in this game. So I feel like there's a decent amount of replayability. I've played this game multiple times. There's things that I clearly still have not noticed. I feel like I notice something different every single time. It's definitely a short game. We can get into this if you want to, but I know this is one of the controversies about this game, that it is full, quote unquote, full price for indie and then maybe about 4 hours of gameplay. But for me, the replayability is, infinite. I'm still playing it to this day. So
do you remember how much this game is? I don't remember.
I feel like it's somewhere in the 15 to 20 range.
Okay. Well, I wonder too, the thing about video game development, to me, one of the hardest parts, and this is a biased take, but one of the hardest parts is the art. The visual styles, the art, the amount of time and hours put into this game. Like, yes, it's a short playthrough, but the depth of that playthrough is so detailed that I don't know.
So and I did just double check. It is $19.99 on Steam right now.
If an indie developer decided that it was worth $20 based on their work, like to me, that's not that controversial. If you're really that upset about it, wait until there's a Steam sale.
Honestly, that's always been my thought on this game, because when I was like first considering buying it, the most often like negative reviews I saw were talking about how many hours of gameplay there are total. But to your point, I think the level of detail in this game, the art direction, the music, and again, even though it is environmental storytelling, they had to spend a lot of time making sure that characterization is consistent in every level. And honestly, I think 20 is more than reasonable. I can't imagine how much work they put into this. So doesn't feel like a lot to me, but if it's really a sticking point for somebody, yeah, just wait for it to go on sale. It goes on sale all the time. I think it's more than worth it.
Thing about indie games and why I love indie games so much is like the heart. Like somebody is making this game with a lot of heart.
It's worth mentioning as well, although again, this isn't necessarily overt, but I think this is a queer love story in this game. I probably should have a spoiler alert, I suppose. But it does go into a queer love story, which has been very important for a lot of people to see this kind of representation. It's nice to see more of that in the space just organically coming up.
I guess, was there anything about this game you wish was slightly different?
It can be a little frustrating. There's certain items that cannot go in certain places, as silly as that sounds. But the example I had in my notes was in the very first level, the only place that your journal can go is under your pillow. And you might not even realize first time playing that you can even move the pillow. So when I was first like kind of placing it around the room, I was like, oh my God, where the hell is this supposed to go? It was a little frustrating.
I do appreciate that there's nothing incorrect until you're done unpacking the boxes. Nothing is going to interrupt you. It's not going to show you errors or like squeak at you until the very end.
That being said, in the level with your partner who lives in the city, that level I fully believe is supposed to be frustrating.
Yes.
Honestly, we could have this whole podcast talking about that level in particular, because I think that has like the strongest storytelling.
I think I wrote down one note about that level, and it's, oh my God, dude, I have to organize your own drawer for you. Like, what the hell?
Yep.
Because you like open the drawers and like their stuff is just like strewn in the drawer and totally not organized. I've literally felt that frustration in my real life before. And to see that in a virtual world and like feel that when you're trying to like put your own stuff and fit into their life, like that frustration, I think is warranted at the very least.
I remember I played that level on stream for the first time, and I was getting so embarrassed and so frustrated because I was having such a hard time placing things. I'm like, this is not a hard game. Why am I so angry at this level? And then afterwards being like, oh, I'm supposed to be angry. This person is actively not making space for me. And that's represented in how you can move stuff in that level, but not a whole lot. And also that person has a ton of stuff living by themselves. As you mentioned, like I think their top drawer is like just a bunch of ties and they're all over the place. And you're like, you need a whole damn drawer for this? Like, what is happening? So, but the fact that we can talk about this, and it's just like, we had such a visceral reaction to this one level. It's like, okay, wow, they did their job. Also, their aesthetic was awful. Everything in that apartment is black and white. And for how colorful and like girly pop your whole vibe is, it's like instantly you're like, wait, my stuff looks weird in your place.
It's so stark. The difference is so stark. The like gray and like blue tones up against your like bright, vibrant colors is just one of the most impactful levels of that game.
Especially the next level being moving back to your bedroom, like where you originally started, are a very similar room. And I think the comment from the protagonist as well is this room feels so much smaller. And it absolutely does as you're going through this, because you have a whole lot more stuff and a whole lot less space.
Oh my gosh.
And you were just trying so hard to like squeeze things in there. And that level especially has another really adorable detail where it can get a little frustrating when you're first doing it. But there's a picture of you and the partner from the city, and you cannot hang that picture up because you do not want to look at it anymore because you had a very bad breakup. So I think the only place you can put it, I think, is like away, which another really fun detail is if you put it on the cork board, the thumbtack is through your partner's face, your ex-partner's face. Which is just adorable. Then, yeah, going through again, like you're at your own apartment again, and then you have a new partner who now you have to make space for, which is just like full circle storytelling there. You found somebody who's a little more your taste, just as colorful, a little eclectic, you know, like has some interesting taste. In that level, there's like a monster head that they have on display. And I always put that on the bottom shelf because I was like, I don't want to put this on display, but I don't want my partner to be upset. So,
you know, it's not a real partner, so you can be a little pickier about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, listen, it's on display. It's just on the bottom shelf. I don't need guests seeing this. I don't think I've ever experienced a game with this level of environmental storytelling, and it's just such a treat. And I again, the more that I play it, the more I see things in the home that gives you more details on who these characters are. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, but like is just a small thing, especially for people who really like achievements. This game, very simple to get the achievements. It would probably be on a second playthrough if you really wanted to get everything. But the achievements are very easy to do. They're very easy to figure out, which I think is fun. So like this is one of the few games that I've 100%ed on achievements, because the achievements are like, you got to do something a little bit extra, but it's not like agonizing. Like, again, you could probably get it on a first playthrough, but like definitely on a second.
I got them on my second too. Yeah. I had to look up one of them.
Same. The toaster one?
Yeah, the toaster one. I had to look up the toaster one. I didn't figure that. I'm just, I guess, not morbid enough to have figured that one out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think the only thing really is that I just do appreciate the pacing of this game. Like you said, you can just play one level and be done. You don't have to like commit to a long playthrough. It's slow enough that you can appreciate the detail, but it is fast enough for the ADHD. So
yes,
I don't get too frustrated by the length, and I can kind of quit at any time. So it helps with my distractibility. And yeah, I mean, this game, from my perspective, if you like cozy organizing or story games, and you like cute pixel art, like you can't go wrong with this game.
Honestly, I feel pretty much the same. I tell some of my friends this all the time. Like, I love Baldur's Gate so much. I think it's such a fun game, but it is a very in-depth game. And I feel like I can't just open it and play it for like 20 minutes and then stop. Like, it's not that kind of game. What I love about this game and what makes it so dependable for me is that like, I know there's not a level of commitment. I could play it for as long as I feel like. And really, if you wanted to like speed run this game and go very quickly, you could probably just like place things willy-nilly and then just do some slight corrections, especially in some levels where it's not as picky. Yeah, I think this game is really good for anybody. Again, if you're bothered by the price, then definitely just wait till it goes on sale. Like, for me, it's more than worth it, especially now that I've gotten about like 24 hours out of this game. It has won quite a few awards as well. So it's like, it's clearly the right game for a lot of people.
One of the details in the game is that you have these chicken plushies. You have like a mother hen plushie, and you slowly have more chicks as you go. And it's so cute. And one of the items they have available on their website are these blind boxes of the little cheeky plushies. And Bree, you have one. I was hoping we'd both have one, but I screwed up. Mine didn't come in time. So Bree is going to open her blind box. Originally, we were going to try to argue over which one should have which plushie, but since there's only one, I guess Bree will have to defend why I can't steal it from her. So I guess, Are you ready to open your blind box?
I am. I did want to mention just really quick in case anybody's interested in buying merch. Granted, this is the only merch I've bought from them, but very happy that they have a merch store now, because like there's so many things in the game where you're like, I would love to have that thing. So their merch store in general, very adorable. They have some of like the posters that you can hang on your wall. They have the plushies, a lot of the main plushies that you have in the game. And they have this blind box, which I am so excited to open. The packaging, very adorable. I'm going to keep the box for sure. Yeah, we're going to see which one we have. It is a chickie. Oh, it's Sunny's!
Oh, he's got sunglasses. They're so cute. You got a good one.
Yes, this is one of the ones I wanted. So I am very, very happy with this. He is so cute. And I will say, as I'm holding it, very well made. Great stuffing. The sunglasses are super stinking
It's also
cute.
bigger than I imagined it would be.
Yeah, it's a very solid size. Like it fits in like my hand. So I'm probably gonna buy more, to be honest. And you could also buy the full set. I think it's like $200 with the mother hen. But if you are very committed to this game and you want to get the whole set of all the chicks, so you can really truly live the life that you did in Unpacking, you can do that for $200.
Well, yeah, we're not getting commission, by the way. So
yes, so we're clear.
Well, thank you, Bree, for joining me for our first ever Game Birds podcast. It's my turn to pick the game. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet, so we'll just not say.
But it will be an indie game, and it will be something we will discuss.
Heck yeah.